we did Severance. The season finale was this weekend. In fact, I believe it was Friday, and it might have dropped like midnight Thursday. And so that affected my Twitter presence on Saturday or whatever, or Friday, because I'm like, wait, what? That's just too. That's wrong to be spoiling a show that drops at midnight.
Yeah, I used to. I never had the gumption to just be a big enough asshole to do it, but it was really funny to me to just imagine the second. Okay, if you haven't seen Succession, turn it off. See, I'm a good dude. But the second Logan Roy dies that night, take your account with 55,000 followers and just say Logan's dead. just to see how pissed off people would get. But it's cool that collectively as a society, people just don't.
Right. Generally they don't, but they did. They were on. Although I should say this, I would get upset when I saw a Severance, line or a picture or something, and then I'd ignore it. But upon watching it, I realized there was really nothing I could have really spoiled because they didn't really get anywhere. And that's what I was complaining about yesterday, that it's a very cool show. It's really cool. But it's just, again, we ended with maybe you'll find out the answers to some of these things in Season 3. And you know how this is. Season 3 will be like a year and a half or 2 years from now.
I know.
And then we're going to be like, I don't even remember what happened before, and have to maybe try and go back and whatever. So from what I understand, KT, Kevin Turner, was watching the show yesterday, and he was in our chat. And he was squawking, and he was upset because he's a big Severance fan. So joining us now, we welcome KT to the program to defend the honor of his fair maiden, Severance. KT, do you read me?
I read you.
Boy, how many things can this guy claim? So it's Dave Matthews, it's Severance, it's the draft.
Being from a small town.
It's game shows, yeah, the Packers, like anything else?
This is what's messed up about you guys, because that's all like patently false, well, most of it. Because I look forward to the Gemstones and the White Lotus more than I do Severance every week. I'm looking more forward to the Seth Rogen show that drops on Apple tomorrow called The Studio.
What's it about?
More than Severance. I think he's like running a movie studio, and it's like the chaos of all that. Yeah.
Not about a small apartment.
Oh, no, I just meant why don't they just go ahead and have him be in control of the world's banking as well? So Seth Rogen is a movie exec? He's like, all right.
Yeah, but Evan Goldberg, the guy who did Superbad with him, is back in the mix, and that's the key here. Is they both came up with this, so maybe we're getting Superbad again.
So your initial thoughts, though, you're upset that I was bad-mouthing Severance, correct?
You think you know a person, and Dan, I don't know. I think it's weird to claim one person as your leader, a Kier, if you will. I'm not going to do that, but we're guys who have exchanged DVDs back in the day. Got them right here on my shelf. 30 Rock, still got it. The Lost DVD. So you think you know a person. And I'm listening to the show, as I often do. I'm getting in the chat, as I often do, because I'm trying to help out the algorithms. I mean, if radio is turning into Blockbuster, God knows we need to learn these algorithms.
Sure.
So I'm trying to help your show out here. And as I hear you be so dismissive over such an excellent episode of television, it just shook me for a minute. And, it's one of those things where you just kind of reevaluate things. Looking in the mirror, you think you know a guy. You ask him to be in your SNL fantasy league. He doesn't show up for the draft. It's okay. That's strike one.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've seen it called the best episode of television people have seen. Like, that's what my timeline was full of over the weekend was, hey, tough season, kind of was up and down.
So my big thing is...
But season 2 the finale made it all worth it because it's the best episode of television ever.
Again, and we have someone else we're going to bring on as well in a second here, but my big thing is that, because it is very Twilight Zone-y, would you say that? And episode 9 had a really cool tie-in with an old Twilight Zone episode, I guess using the same name as the. Did you see the breakdown on episode 9?
I saw a little bit about it, but I haven't been following the breakdowns too much. I mean, like a little bit if I'm hyper confused, like after episode 8. But yeah, go ahead.
But anyway, there's clearly they're nodding to the Twilight Zone. But at the end of a Twilight Zone, and this is why I was a Twilight Zone fan, not that big of a fan of the X-Files. Yet most people that love the X-Files are like, oh, I love Twilight Zone too. At the end of a Twilight Zone episode, you would get the answer. Like, God, what is this? It's a weird mystery. This spaceship has invaded, and there's a land of giants, and it turns out that's actually Earth that they were in. It's a land. It's actually a spaceship of miniature people. Like, you at the end get the reveal. Oh, that's what I've been investing my half hour for. Whereas X-Files. Oh, this is weird, Scully, Mulder. We're trying to investigate it. Oh, wow, this is really weird. And then at the end, oftentimes they would go, well, I mean, it's a phenomenon. Who knows? Like, no. There has to be an explanation, a logical explanation to it was an alien, it was this, it was that. So that's why I didn't like the X-Files. It was like really cool, fun story, like the actors. They never really then answered why was I invested in this for an hour, just to end up saying that was a cool journey to really not have anything answered. Whereas the Twilight Zone at the end, the alien who took off the hat in the restaurant and he has got a third eye up, so now you know he's an alien. That's the answer. Now we know the answer to this. So my thing on Severance is every episode is this, they keep adding cool clues and this is interesting. But what is the whole thing? What are they working for? What is Cold Harbor? Well, we have never answered those questions. There's a lot of theories, are all the things that they're working on, are they different consciousnesses? And are we going to reanimate the founders of this company? What are we doing here? Like, we still don't know. Would you give me that?
I absolutely give you that. But that's kind of also the brilliance of the show is ideally in our head, they will answer things at the end and not pull a Sopranos, like ideally. But when is the end? Well, is it season 3? Is it season 4? Will they get a 5th season out of it? Like, that's where, like, to me, it's just like, we just wrapped up this and we did answer a lot of things, but we also left a lot of things hanging for you. But I also think there are 2 things that happened that doesn't happen very often. Would you agree with me that we are in the golden age of mid TV?
You mean like network television?
No, I know what you mean though. Yeah, it's not The Wire, it's not Breaking Bad. It might not even be, if you wanted to throw like obviously Sopranos, Game of Thrones, but there's like an entire class of pretty good shows, and that's part of my problem.
See, this is where I think Severance leveled up with that episode. And there's a moment that happens. I'm not going to spoil anything because it's a little early here. The moment that happens with Adam Scott, where he's got his own camcorder. And when you stop a show and go, hold on, that guy just won an Emmy right there. And I had that moment with him during that scene. That's very long.
Great acting.
Like,
I'm not debating that he's not been a great actor. But I often don't like the Emmy-winning episodes. I don't like the dream sequence, the fly of Breaking Bad, or the dream sequence of The Sopranos, and those are often the ones that win the awards, but then they kind of suck in the end.
I don't think that's the fly, though. To me, this was the Ozymandias of episodes. This was the if you're doing Community, the remedial chaos theory. If you're doing Sopranos, the one where they go out in the pine trees. What's Pine Barrens, I think. Atlanta, Teddy Perkins. Like, I thought it leveled up to like an extreme, like this, like that's the best episode that series has ever done, in my opinion. And I think many people are agreeing. I have this little site that I follow. It's kind of fun. You guys can look it up if you want to. Have a little fun. It's like it's called the Show Grid. You just type in whatever show you want to watch, whatever show you've seen, and they just kind of have the episodes in order. And it's just like however the community rated them. So if there's 20,000 people that, gave it a rating, it kind of stands out. The Wire with the episode where Omar dies. Spoiler, sorry. That episode is like, seen as one of the best ones. And I thought Severance just did that. And to hear you, Dan, a guy who I often agree with, very often, I think we have some of the same inspirations and things like that. And to hear you say that, it just made me have that, when a dog is confused and goes, oh.
It's just right when it ended, I'm like, I'm left wanting. Like, okay, I don't care about spoiling. If you're worried because you're like locked in and you haven't watched the last episode yet, then you can tune out right now. But when he does get to chooses Helly or whatever, it wasn't like sad. Oh, good, Any Mark chose that. Like, then obviously it's a graduate ending where they're not sure what the future holds. In fact, you're pretty sure the future is not going to hold anything past 10 or 15 minutes because you're in this closed environment. You're not going to so I don't care. I'm just not as interested in the love story between Any Mark and Helly that the producers think I am. And boy, do they smell their own farts when you watch that 5-minute bit at the end of the show. Oh, Here is where this is really fascinating. The inner dynamic between Helly and
you can't watch
Helena.
that stuff.
And then
Don't watch that.
And then then their character is like, well, my motivation here, and it's like, oh, that was because I really enjoyed those 5 minutes after the show bits throughout the whole season, but. I thought that last one, they were really, boy, I'd love to congratulate whoever wrote this. Wait, it was me. You're right, it was me that wrote this episode. I wonder if that's why I've got a rock-hard boner when I think about it. Like, it was so, oh my gosh, the work we have done. If you don't appreciate this, my goodness. All right, let me also bring on Jameson. He's we're Jameson's our guy from the football streams, of course. Jameson plays a lot of music for us.
Is he wearing a suit while he's playing?
Of course he is.
He is.
Because Jameson's been sharing with me a variety of fan theories and and I have really liked, like you say, you don't watch a lot of the breakdowns, KT. I think that's been kind of a fun part of the show is the work I do outside watching the show of watching other people analyze the show and seeing all the Easter eggs. There's a million things. Jameson, thank you.
Oh, hey guys.
It's funny to find you here.
Didn't see you there.
Were you similarly upset with me yesterday?
Disappointed would probably be the right word. You're entitled to your own opinion, Dan. We all have been listening to your opinions for decades and loving them, but this is one of your worst, for sure.
Damn, dude. They're frying your ass.
Yeah.
I saw let me tell you guys where I stand on all this. And I've never actually tried the show. I do think there's a chance I would enjoy it. I'm not big into the realm of science fiction. But somebody, and Ben Stiller actually replied to this, but somebody posted Severance is a 105 IQ person's idea of a 130 IQ show.
It's funny.
And Ben Stiller replied to that and said, I'll take 105. 100 is like the average. But I looked at that and I was like, I don't even know if I'm a 105, bro. I can't. I don't know.
I mean, I've heard people call Rogan that.
Yeah.
Or just say it's a dumb person's idea of a smart show.
Yeah, you hear that. And I think I don't even know that I'm, like, smart enough to – like, I just need, like, Steven Seagal.
Well, there's a lot of cool things, but I kind of feel like Severance – maybe I'll be proven wrong after season 3 or 4 or 5 or, like, what will I have grandkids by the time that this thing ever wraps up? Or will my kids have grandkids? I loved Lost, but my theory on Lost was they made this really cool pilot to sell to the network, and then once it gets picked up, they're like, God damn, we put a
kind of bit off a little more than we could chew here.
We put a polar bear on a
pocket.
What's that?
like Cooper Rush escaping the pocket.
Yeah, you're like, how did I get here?
We put a polar bear on a tropical island. Now I have to create 100 episodes to try to explain why I have done that. And the thing about this show is they're very conscious of Lost as well. Did you know the locker numbers at Lumen are the Lost numbers 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, and 42? Like that's the kind of shit I love. I do love those little Easter eggs. I love watching the "Is Rick and a Goat" videos. Like there's a human, there's goats involved, but there's no real. We never really get any answer on the goats either, right? We never get the answer on the raw eggs, but the Egan loves raw eggs, and Gemma was drinking one in her thing. There's questions like, is
This
Helly
doesn't make me want to watch it.
is Helly pregnant? Is Cobell Mark's mom? Robbie Benson was Robbie Benson is the doctor at Lumen, and then he was in one of the flashbacks of Gemma at the fertility clinic.
What the hell is going on?
The Cold Harbor ID number is the same as Helly's ID number. What does that mean? What does all this mean? And so there's a million questions, and they're like, stay tuned.
Isn't that
Maybe we'll answer one of them. Huh?
Because like, I feel like this show is a great puzzle, and I like that it's week to week because me and a bunch of friends have been watching it together, and so you get to talk about it, you get to kind of parse it out. But that's like, I feel like we haven't had a show like that since, I think I mentioned to you yesterday, Dan, Westworld season 1, where you're trying to figure out the puzzle, you're trying to answer questions, and they do kind of string you along. And I do think that season was kind of slow. It was like the first night, like Jimmy Nelson, the first 90% of the season was a lot of work. Last 10%, pretty solid. So I don't know. Pacing could be a little better, but I think you're taking Blake and Jake off of a really good show. They should give it a try.
Well, I guess their job here will be to
get to the bottom of this.
No, to see whether they
settle this.
Am I selling my side better? I'm not. Again, it's enjoyable, and I really do like watching the conjecture videos. But I just thought, okay, episode 10, I'm going to get a couple of answers, and I don't think I just got more questions. Would you guys argue with that? Would you tell me the answers I got? Tell me the answer, Gribble.
Well, the answer, I mean, the first answer is that he got Gemma out of there. And, I mean, that's what happens at the end.
Very short-lived, though, right?
Well, we'll find out, right? Because now she's going to try to get him out. Yeah. And then, but that's like, he made a love story, type of choice there. Also, he porked Helly, so she could be pregnant, too.
Right.
We have to remember that. That's an interesting thing. No, I think you're right on that there is more questions, but I think that's more like get you hyped for season 3 type of thing. And I understand this show might sound like a lot for like Jake and Blake and may not even want to jump in on that. Like, I totally understand where that might be intimidating to some people. And I don't think this is the greatest show of all time. But I think we leveled up big time. And for that to be the day you made the comment, like if you came in after episode 8, where we just had, Patricia Arquette goes back to the town, which we did learn some things there, but also that was a boring episode.
Slow.
Like if you dumped on that, I would have been like, you know what? Hell yeah.
Well, you might have heard me after that show saying, where are we going here?
That's true. I do recall that.
I'm also like a week after you guys blew your load over the season premiere of The Righteous Gemstones, where we didn't really learn anything. We learned like one thing about the backstory that we all kind of knew anyways.
But the Gemstones is not a show about mystery.
And they made it very clear that was just like a episode 0. It's not like it was involved with the major plot at all. So I do think that's different. But, I don't know. Well, I'd love to check it out, but as you guys know, I have to finish all my TV watching before opening day. And that's 4 days away. So I typically don't see friends or get to watch TV during baseball season.
Yeah.
What do you think of the premise, though, Jake? Just that you have your work life and your social life are completely separate from each other.
Yeah, do you even know that premise? I mean, that's the premise of Severance is that the guy's wife died and he got severed so he can just go to work and not have to even think about that.
And then when you leave, you're normal when you're an outie?
Yeah, you're back to you, but during work times you don't remember anything about your personal life, yet somehow you are able to remember how to speak and how to.
Yeah, if you just paper over
how to
all that,
fuck.
I think it's a very interesting. I didn't know that. A very interesting concept for sure.
Yeah,
I'm
so,
interested in in manipulation of the worker. I like all that sort of stuff, but I kind of like my job, so.
Yeah,
What about,
And
what about when
my
your
wife
wife
is still alive. So
yeah. So
when you're,
no, yeah.
I will
and-
tell you this: White Lotus sucks.
Ooh,
I'm with you on that, man.
It's just it's the
Interesting.
thing, man. It looks super cool, and they get great actors. But I was thinking about this morning. Like Walton Goggins is in it, so I'm gonna watch it. Walton Goggins is just untouchable to me. But this role sucks. For example, in The Shield, the cool thing about Walton Goggins' character was like he had the most insane range of possible emotional outcomes you could find. He'd be laughing and joking around with his family, and then he would lose his mind and be like, I have to kill everyone here. And he would kind of just seem like it was all over the map. Baby Billy has like vulnerable moments where he's like, shit, man, ain't nothing going right for me. And then he's got high moments, right? And I think Walton Goggins is able to just be like this crazy up and down guy. In The White Lotus, he's just like, everything sucks. They go to him and he's like, it sucks. My dad,
Well,
it sucks. It
he's
sucks.
always beaten.
There's no depth to his character whatsoever. And I
But
feel
has he
like, go ahead.
well, has he played that role before? I mean, dude, we're talking about the guy who's done kind of everything when it comes to acting, including Brian Downtown Anderson in Major League 3 back to the minors.
He was
Like-
in Major League 3. Yeah.
I'm kind of enjoying this new role for him. And I don't, and if you think the White Lotus sucks, that's fine. I think it's fine. I like it. I really do like it and enjoy it. I guess my question would be like, what do you like?
Yeah.
Like, there's
No.
not that many, there's not that much good shit on.
You're
So,
right.
like,
No, it's
we found a couple
100%.
things that work.
I
We're in the
I
mid-era.
grapple with this a lot of if I'm the problem. And I've come to mostly determine that I am. But I dude, I tried to watch White Lotus last night, no phone, or 2 nights ago. 30 minutes in, I'm like, what is happening? Nothing is
The
happening.
brother jacked off the brothers. What happened?
The brother did jack off the brother, but that felt like a desperate attempt. That felt like your wife knowing you're leaving and being like, hand job? I know it's been 10 years. It's like, I don't know. But
All right.
I just want to say this. I acknowledge this is a problem for me. Like, you guys can get into shows, and I don't know. I get bored so fast now.
Let's just run Moana back again.
Yeah.
It's my dark period.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us,
Thanks,
guys.
boys.
Thanks for the healthy debate.
Did you embrace
even
it?
if you're wrong. There
Rock
goes
on, Jameson.
KT,
There
give
goes
my Roman salute off camera.
Jameson and KT to defend the honor of their fair maiden, Severance.